Just chaos unfolds on Penn State's campus overnight. Students riot after head coach Joe Paterno is fired. Well, much more on that in a moment. Good morning to you. 6 o'clock right now, Thursday, November 10th. I'm Jennifer Abney along with Todd McDermott. And again, we'll have much more out of State College for you throughout the morning.
Thanks, and pray a little bit for those victims. He said pray for those victims. We've been following breaking news overnight as Penn State's Board of Trustees fires head coach Joe Paterno and the university president, Graham Spanier, in the wake of the child sex abuse scandal there. Paterno and his wife addressed a crowd outside their home late last night. We're covering every angle of this major breaking story with a team of reporters in State College and here in Pittsburgh. I want to bring you up to date with what's happened since late last night. So Paterno announced yesterday that he would retire as head coach at the end of the season, but last night the Board of Trustees decided to fire Paterno as well as the university's president, Graham Spanier, effective immediately. Police in riot gear then had to clash with students on the State College campus overnight. Crowds toppled a television news van, among other chaos, while officers used pepper spray to try to control that crowd. Outside of Paterno's home overnight, a more peaceful gathering where Paterno thanked his supporters and asked them to pray for the victims. Our team of reporters in State College was caught right in the middle of the riots on campus overnight. Channel 11's Julie Fine has more on the situation unfolding from College Avenue.
With everything happening at Penn State tonight, our photographers were in the middle of all of it when the riots broke out. Now, here's what happened. We heard about a news truck that was overturned, so we went down to get video of that. Our photographers went down the street to get that. Courtney, Bren, and I actually stayed in our news vans to make sure nothing happened to them. While our photographers were down there, they were hit with mace, they were hit with mud, and they were hit with water bottles. Finally, a Penn State student came up the street and told us we better get out of there because they may overturn other cars. Courtney and I actually left the scene. We were able to meet up with our photographers a short time later, but they described an extremely chaotic scene down the street. We saw it as well. At certain times, people came running up to us. A very difficult night at Penn State. At one point, students actually got a text to get out of downtown and to return home. We will continue with coverage on this all day today. In State College, Julie Fine, Channel 11 News. Joe Paterno attempted a preemptive move by announcing yesterday morning he would resign at the end of the season. But last night, the Board of Trustees made the decision to fire him and the university president effective immediately. Channel 11's Brandon Hudson joins us from our newsroom with more on that decision. Brandon?
Todd's our crews chased university leaders around campus for answers. For most of the day, the Board of Trustees stiff-armed the press and kept quiet until late last night. Word of a press conference and cameras and reporters scrambling to the Penn Stater Hotel. One of our photographers caught the chaos unfold. When the board sat down to address the situation, they asked for student, staff, and alumni support.
I would hope that everyone would agree that what we're doing is what we believe in our best judgment is in the best long-term interest of the university, which is much larger than athletic programs.
Organized a rally on campus during the announcement. As you saw earlier, it got out of hand at times. In the aftermath, Tom Bradley is named interim head coach. Bradley could coach as many as 5 games this season, including a Big Ten championship and Rose Bowl if the Nittany Lions win its division and conference. Of course, starts with a win over Nebraska on Senior Day Saturday. Reporting live, Brandon Hudson, Channel 11 News.
And news of the trustees' decision to fire Joe Paterno is all over social media this morning. There are actually several Facebook pages both for and against the board's decision. On the page Support Joe Paterno, Chris Clanton writes, "We give our support and our respect to Joe Pa. The best of luck and support to your program's future." Now, some different feelings expressed on a page called Joe Paterno Must Go. Stephanie Gonzalez writes, "Paterno gave PSU a name and then tarnished it in the end." And this is a look at the website of the Penn State student newspaper, the Daily Collegian. Pictures on that homepage show students reacting to the news, and you can see they're visibly upset over Paterno's firing.
The artist who painted a large mural on the Penn State campus has removed Jerry Sandusky's face from that painting. Michael Pilato says he decided to make the change after he got an email from the mother of one of Sandusky's alleged young victims. A blue ribbon has been added in place of Sandusky's face to remember victims of child abuse. The artist says this is the first time he's ever had to remove a person from the mural. Now, it's important to point out here that Coach Paterno and University President Graham Spanier are also part of that mural. No word on whether their faces might be removed. Again, our big breaking news coverage today, the Penn State sex abuse scandal. Thousands of students Riot in State College last night after Joe Paterno is fired. News of Paterno's firing making headlines throughout the country. This is our news partner, the Tribune Review's headline today. Paterno fired. Scandal ends. 61-year career.
Now, this story's been developing all throughout the evening and morning. So here are the latest details that you need to know about. Paterno fired late last night by the Penn State Board of Trustees. Defensive coordinator Tom Bradley will take over as the interim coach at Penn State. He'll be on the sideline Saturday when they play Nebraska. University President Graham Spanier also has been fired. Executive Vice President Rodney Erickson serving as the interim president. Now, these moves take effect immediately. So moments after the announcement, students began rioting on the Penn State campus. Our crew was actually caught right in the middle of it.
Our team coverage starts with Channel 11's Julie Fine at State College.
We actually just had to leave downtown because of everything that happened. Our photographers were in the thick of everything. They first went down to take a picture of the overturned news truck. While they were there, they were hit with mace, they were hit with mud, and they were hit with water bottles. Now, I was up the street with Courtney Brennan. We were actually in our news trucks because we wanted to make sure nothing happened to them. While we were there, a small group of Penn State students told us we needed to move immediately because they thought that they were going to be overturning more trucks. So that's what we did. We eventually met up with our photographers a short time later. Again, a very difficult evening with all of the students on the streets. At one point, they did get a text from the university to return home. In State College, Julie Fine, Channel 11 News.
And we should also mention that no one was hurt when that news truck was tipped over. It was an emotional scene overnight outside of Paterno's house. That's where the former coach and his wife greeted hundreds of fans who gathered there to show their support. Our team coverage continues this morning with Channel 11's Brandon Hudson.
Jennifer, you saw just how crazy it was in Julie's story. It wasn't like that outside of Joe Paterno's house. Some of his supporters left flowers on his doorstep. Last night, Joe Pa and his wife Sue walked outside their house to this. Paterno's wife looks like she was moved to tears. Paterno didn't have much to say. He did thank everyone who's been by his side during the scandal.
Hey, you guys are great, and all of you. When I say guys, you know what I mean. To talk to us. You know what I mean, girls too. All right. Hey, look, get a good night's sleep. All right, study. All right. We still got things to do. All right, I'm out of it maybe now. A phone call put me out of it, but we'll go from there, okay? Hey, good luck, everybody. Hey, thanks for coming.
Paterno also asked the students to pray for the victims. Paterno released a statement shortly after the board's firing announcement saying, quote, "Right now, I'm not the football coach, and that's something I have to get used to," end quote. Early yesterday, Paterno said that he would resign at the end of the season, but the board's vice chairman said swift changes were necessary and in the long-term best interest of the university. Reporting live, Brandon Hudson, Channel 11 News.
As you know from yesterday, Paterno tried to say he would last till the end of the season, but as we mentioned, when he was fired last night, University President Graham Spanier was also dismissed effective immediately. An announcement was made during a news conference by the university's Board of Trustees. Channel 11's Courtney Brennan was there.
The Board of Trustees finally made an announcement late last night here at the Penn State Hotel, and when they dropped the news, it was a big one, firing both Coach Joe Paterno and college president Graham Spanier. It was literally a chase across Penn State's campus last night, and then we and the rest of the press finally found the Board of Trustees at the Penn State Hotel. We tried to get information, but no one would talk. Several hours passed, and then around 10:15, the Board of Trustees finally called a press conference and told us President Spanier and Coach Paterno were out. They asked Penn State fans everywhere to support their decision.
I would hope that everyone would agree that what we're doing is what we believe in our best judgment is in the best long-term interest of the university, which is much larger than athletic programs.
An acting head coach has been named Tom Bradley, and he will coach the Penn State football team this Saturday. I'm sure we'll find out today much more how the students plan to prepare for that game and also what the school will do. Reporting in State College, I'm Courtney Brennan, Channel 11 News.
Now, a Philadelphia newspaper is reporting that Spanier actually resigned before he was actually fired by the Board of Trustees. That may have been a mistake, but here's the statement he did release upon finding out and the release that he had been fired. "I am heartbroken to think that any child may have been hurt and have deep convictions about the need to protect children and youth. This university is a large and complex institution. Although I have always acted honorably and in the best interest of the university, the buck stops here."